Yeah, Lennox Lewis. Lennox, I'm coming for you.
Mike, is it frustrating to train like you did and then have this in 7 or 8 seconds?
For this fight. I only trained probably 2 weeks or 3 weeks for this fight. I had to bury my best friend, and I dedicated this fight. I wasn't going to fight. I dedicated this fight to him. I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lennox is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
Are you saying now, Mike, the Mike?
Welcome to the Midday Sports Monday edition with Fifth Down Sports, Chris Dietz. And we also got a special guest today, Chris Dietz. We got the Kentucky guy, and we're going to talk some pro wrestling for the first hour. So let's bring him in right now.
Let's get to wrestling.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Oh, man, doing great. Late as usual, but doing great.
It's all right, man.
Well, we got a Tennessee guy in Rod, and we got Kentucky. We got Kentucky guy, and this is the weekend, man.
Yeah. This is the
weekend. Tennessee, Kentucky. This is it.
Yeah, we just had a better team, but yeah, we won't get into that. Let's talk wrestling.
Let's talk about it. What's going on with wrestling right now, Kentucky guy, before we go on some retro stuff?
Well, it's I tell you what, man, it's a crazy time right now to be a wrestling fan. It's probably the best time in the world since the Attitude Era. That was back when Stone Cold and The Rock and everybody was on there. Right now, where Triple H is ahead of creative in WWE, he's just turning things up, man. He's brought the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, back at Extreme Rules. And there's still, I actually went to a live event. That's why I'm kind of hoarse last night with my daughter. So the Fiend wasn't there, but everybody else was. It was amazing. But they keep dropping breadcrumbs like the rabbit hole. And it's a lot of fun right now, man. There's so much going on. AEW, they're still there. They've got some problems, of course, with CM Punk and so forth, but they're still hanging in there.
And I mean, look at what Triple H. Triple H. You mentioned bringing back the Fiend. I mean, how many guys ever since Triple H took over? It seems like every week they're just rolling somebody new out. I mean, it was They brought Braun Strowman back. They brought Bray back. They brought that we just saw last week. They brought Gallows and Anderson back to be with AJ Styles. So Triple H, you're seeing what's happening, and I believe it. It's all because of Triple H being in charge.
100%, 100%. Braun Strowman. It's funny that you mentioned him. Have you ever had a chance to see him in real life?
I have.
Yeah, I seen him last night. I had no idea that dude was that big, man. I mean,
he's like twice the size that you see him on TV.
And he fought that old Moss guy. Oh man, that was you talk about another big guy. The Nigerian giant. That's just crazy. But yeah, you're right, man. Triple H is is responsible for all of this. He's brought a couple characters back that I don't quite understand, but he's batting probably a 90% though. I mean, he's done really well. And I think that CM Punk, the latest news on him with AEW is they're actually going to buy out his contract, and I think he's going to be done with wrestling for good, which I personally feel that he should be. After the last instance.
At this point, watching CM Punk, it's not the same CM Punk.
He's been cooked to me.
Yeah, see, I never was a fan of his. I always read reports on how he was in the locker room and things like that, and he's just not a good guy. Here's the truth. He's just not. So, and
they should be glad at his MMA career they got his payback because he got his ass whooped a lot.
He was horrible, man. I mean, it was. I don't know if he thought he was the next Brock Lesnar or Bobby Lashley, but it was sickening, man. It was short lived, and it should have been.
But did that Roman Reigns and Logan Paul fight ever happen, or what's going on with that?
It's coming up at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, 1 week from Saturday.
The worst pay-per-view of all time.
Well, I mean, it's Logan Paul. I mean,
I just mean in general. Just the concept of Crown Jewel is absolutely stupid.
I agree, and
I mean,
I won't get into the politics of it, but the only reason Logan Paul is wrestling is because their dictator, the Prince, requested it because he's a Logan Paul fan. Yeah, I did the research.
I said it on Fifth Down Sports. I said it on my show when I was talking wrestling the other night. Hey, you can't have a WWE show with no divas involved. Divas drive. They've been driving it since the Attitude Era.
I agree, man.
It takes us so much away from the show. It's such a bad. This Crown Jewel is it ever since they started it. It's such a bad idea.
I agree. I haven't. Actually, that's the one pay-per-view I haven't watched very many of. I'll probably watch this one because of the podcast, but the politics behind it is crazy. I mean, I know raising money is good, but this is a fault that I've always had with WWE and Saudi Arabia. Why are you going to go over there the way they treat their women and their people? I mean, who cares how much money? That's just like these guys that have. That's my issue with LeBron James. He has this Nike deal. But yet he's over here trying to act like a human rights activist when he supports China. It just doesn't make any sense.
But that's everybody, though. Kentucky guy. The money always gonna go back to China, man.
Yeah,
we don't put no labor in the United States no more. We ain't never gonna do that. It's cheaper.
Yeah, it doesn't make it right though, right?
No, it doesn't make it right, but we all can't give them the right pill to take.
Right.
But you're seeing the backlash now though. You're seeing people go away from this stuff in droves. The people that have supported. Look at what's happening with Disney. Disney went all in with supporting China, and their Disney Plus has crashed.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Look at what they're doing to Kanye West, man. That's crazy. I mean, this guy, just because he has a different opinion, everybody's calling him crazy now, and he's one of my favorite artists. Crazy. It doesn't make any sense.
But let's go with some retro wrestling. Who are y'all's favorite tag team duels of all time?
I'll let you go first.
Oh, my favorite tag team of all time. There's no question about it. What a rush! LOD. It's tag team starts and ends with Legion of Doom, Animal and Hawk.
Yeah, that's a good one. I always preferred Demolition. That was always my favorite tag team. But yeah, Legion of Doom's great. Their manager, Paul Ellering, his daughter's wrestling now on Impact, and she is amazing. She's amazing.
Yeah, I like the Dudley Boys and the Hardy Boys. That was my two favorites. You know what I mean? I like the High Flyers.
I never liked the Hardy Boys for one reason. For one reason, I was jealous that they got to come out with Lita.
Woo!
I was always like, just let Lita come out, and then the Hardy Boys would come out, and I'd be like, stop! You're getting in the way of the show. Like Lita was the show.
Edge kind of put it into that though, right?
Yeah.
You know that was the first time I ever seen something real life come to TV. Was the Edge, Lita, and Matt Hardy deal? Mm-hmm. Played off in it, so I thought that was pretty cool. I'll never forget ECW One Night Stand when Paul Heyman took the mic and he was cutting down Eric Bischoff, JBL, and everybody. He looks at Edge. He goes, Edge, I've got 2 words for you. Matt freaking Hardy. I thought that was
What Kentucky guy, what do you think would happen to the wrestling gear? Back in the day, it was so. You look at Bret Hart, a lot of the greats. The wrestling gear was so top notch. Now it looked like a video game. Some of their clothes looks gimmicky. What happened to
you
the attire and the swagger?
You said it. That's the go right there. They want it to be a big gimmick now. They want it to look like a video game. Just like my argument, not so much on the gear itself, but the finishing moves. They don't mean anything anymore. They don't mean anything. You can, if you get in the ring in the first 10 minutes, I hit you with 2 super kicks and I can't pin you. How does that make it a legit finishing move? Brock Lesnar, he does 5 F5s on the Undertaker at WrestleMania, and then has to pull the stinking mat up to do another one, actually pin him. I mean, come on. So yeah, it's went away a lot. I think a lot of that had to do with Vince McMahon. I am seeing that it's like I don't know if you've watched it lately, but WWE has changed so much in the last 60 days. It's not even funny. It reminds me of the old days finally. So, and not just with the characters coming back, but with the actual matches that they're putting on. Actually, it's worth watching on TV now instead of just pay-per-views.
So
it's been
why do you think they are changing? Are they scared of the other companies, you think?
Entrances in general have just become bland. It's really bad.
Yeah, the only time we see pyros anymore is at WrestleMania. To answer your question, the big change is Vince McMahon retired. Mm-hmm. So Triple H is the head of creative now. And I don't know if you've ever watched NXT, but NXT before it became NXT 2.0, when Triple H was over, it was fantastic. He's got a great wrestling mind. And I think that's why this was the best move. And I know that there's a scandal is why Mr. McMahon retired or what have you, but this was the best move WWE could have ever done because their stock was dropping and dropping fast.
Do you think if he didn't step down, it would, get out of here completely?
I think they have too much money to ever go away completely. And plus it's such a big sport. Tell you something I seen last night. Mm-hmm. I seen 60% of the audience were kids 10 years old and younger. So that tells me that the WWE, AEW, nobody's going anywhere. Because when you have that young of a fan base, they're going to create more as they get older. So, yeah. So they have too much money. They're just too well known. One thing Triple H is doing is they're working with New Japan Pro Wrestling. And you have to look over me because I'm kind of a freak. I watch them all. MLW, GCW, this probably stuff you never heard of. I have an addiction. So, but anyways, he's working with New Japan Pro Wrestling now, and if they start integrating like they used to back when Hulk Hogan used to go over there and defend the title and what have you, I think AEW might get in trouble. They might be in trouble because they've got so much backlash right now going on, and they have too many superstars. Is my feeling on that. I don't know if either of you guys watch them, but AEW is a good show, but they just have too many superstars.
So they try to buy everything up like the Yankees. That's what you're telling me, Kentucky guy.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Well, AEW they've gotten away from what built them up, and now that's what it's just like you just said. They've got too many superstars now. When they were coming up, they had a couple of superstars, and then they were able to show you all the other guys, Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin. Those were the up and coming guys, and they were able to integrate themselves in. Now those guys can't get a push now because you've brought in Samoa Joe, you've brought in all the talent that left the WWE went over to AEW, and now you don't know what to do. Nobody knows what to do with them.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. One of the things that separated AEW from everybody else was the ranking system, and they've completely got away from that. They don't even talk about it anymore. And that was one of the things I look forward to because, if you have a superstar like Sammy Guevara, and he's number one contender, he should get a title shot if he's undefeated. They've completely went away from that. They're modeling themselves now after WCW, and we all know how that ended. So,
and you said something really big though, man, Kentucky guy. When you said you see younger kids and the youth at pro wrestling, because I'm only 30 years old, but I remember all the famous rappers and name dropping the biggest wrestlers from Ric Flair, Raining Man Savage. It was always named, sampling them, you know what I mean? So that is really big that they're still, still tuned with the youth.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was very surprised. I mean, I knew I'd see some kids there, but I'm telling you, over half the audience was little kids. It was great, as a wrestling fan, because I know it's going to live on. So, yeah, the merchandising that they're doing right now, it's always been about kids, though, right? That's always been their target audience.
I had all kind of wrestling toys.
Me too. I had
Hulk Hogan with the black bandana. From what I mean.
That wasn't Hulk Hogan. That was Hollywood.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Hollywood Hogan.
You're right. Thank you for the correct, Chris Dietz. From from the toys and up, they from the people trying to do it themselves, trying to build, cages, rings outside, trying to do the moves, and you see it today. YouTube videos of people trying to do pro wrestling in the backyard and breaking their legs. Yeah.
I can't tell you how many matches my friends and I have had on trampolines and everything, on just doing random tombstoning people in the middle of the lunchroom. Like we used to do it all. We used to have wrestling matches all the time.
Yeah, I my first wrestling toy was the yellow headband. Hulk Hogan came with the weights and like gummy bears for vitamins or something like that. I remember standing in the mirror, like I was like 6 years old, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, brother, say your prayers." So, some of the best memories, man.
But that's what and on all these shows, I don't know if you watch all the other kinds of shows. Like the one I always bring up is Dark Side of the Ring has been an amazing. They've done 2 seasons, and every episode I'm like, oh my God, I remember this happening. I remember this going down. But to hear the people talk about the behind the scenes of how, like they talked about the Montreal screw job and how it went from them writing it to them producing it. That's where WWE has gone completely downhill, is in the writing aspect. They don't know how to write scripts anymore.
In promo,
I agree.
The promo's trash.
I mean, I guarantee. I know they want to come out and they don't want to embrace it, but we all know. Look, the outcomes are scripted. We know that. They just need to accept it. We know it's not. When people tell me, "Oh, wrestling is fake," I'm like, "Yeah, jump off the top of a cage. Tell me that's fake, because you can't fake that. You can't fake a chair shot. Like you can take it, but you can't fake it. It still hurts. It doesn't matter. But the scripting is just so bad right now."
Yeah, I agree. And the promos, you're absolutely right, man. The best guy in the mic right now is in AEW. His name is MJF. But when it comes to promos, it's trash. It's nothing like Stone Cold or The Rock and there's so many wrestlers right now who they need a mouthpiece. They need like somebody like Paul Heyman.
That's the whole package right there, Kentucky guy. If you don't got no mouthpiece,
Look at who the WWE champion is. He can't handle the mic, and he's never been good at it. Roman Reigns has never been good at doing anything other than wrestling. In the ring, he's awesome. Everything else, he's horrible, and that's why they needed to bring Paul Heyman on for him.
That's my tribal man. Be careful. That's my tribal chief, brother. Be careful now. Come on.
But that's why they had to bring Paul Heyman out with him.
I agree 100%. One of the best promos I ever seen was John Cena mocking him, saying, "Hey, you're going to have to learn how to do this sooner or later, right in the middle of the ring." So I agree. He needed some work.
And John Cena is a marketing genius, okay? You know how many wax rap CDs he sold? You know what I mean?
And he's horrible.
Hey, that's my defensive line coach.
You know what I mean? He is. There's nobody that got more out of his career than probably Cena and The Rock and a couple other guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their pivot was legendary.
You want to hear a funny John Cena story?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So John Cena, when I went to Springfield College, John Cena was a grad student and he was coaching the defensive line when I was walking on as a defensive back. So I go to my first college party ever and go to the seniors' house, and they're all sitting around talking, and they go, What do you think John Cena is going to do with his life? And I'm sitting there at the keg filling up a beer, and I hear him talk, and I just look over at him and I go, "Oh, that guy takes steroids professionally." The year after that, he was in the WWE.
Cool.
Because I just looked over at him, and the whole party just went. The whole party went. That's a quote. Put it on the board because that's going to happen. And then next year, he was in the WWE, rocking out. He was a monster when I saw him. When I knew him as a coach, he was out. He was crazy.
One thing you have to say about I've never was a John Cena fan, but the one thing you have to say about this guy is he surpassed everybody. He was the face of the company for over 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Rock, Stone Cold fan, but let's be honest. I mean, he surpassed them all.
You got to give it to him.
And I can't believe he was your coach. That's crazy, man. I didn't even. Did he graduate college?
Yeah, he went. He was a graduate of. He's a graduate of Springfield College.
I never knew that.
He's from Massachusetts.
I never knew that. He don't got an accent though.
No, he's from. He's not from like Martha's Vineyard. He's from like Ludlow or somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
So he doesn't have that Boston accent, but
I knew he played football, but I didn't know he went there.
But yeah, he played at Springfield College. I the minute I saw him, I went, "Wait, Coach Cena's in the WWE."
Kentucky guy, what's going on with Gabe Stevenson? I know he's supposed to make the transition to wrestling. What's going on with him?
He quit putting to work. This is reports from Dave Meltzer, who I trust Dave. Dave's been in the game a long time, and he's behind the scenes and what have you. But he's also on the Bleacher Report. He says that Gabe pretty much stopped working during tryouts and things like that. He's actually talked about going back to school to compete again in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
So
great wrestler. You seen him, Deets? That guy can move.
But now his brother is turning heads in the WWE development. I don't know his brother, but I did read that his brother is doing very, very well. And it's not everybody can be Kurt Angle, right? It's hard to when you're a natural wrestler to try to switch to wrestling entertainment. That's a hard shift. So I my props to Gabe, man, because he's still fantastic what he done. So if he never shows up in the WWE or he comes and be's a big star, either way, I'm proud of him because his natural abilities are fantastic.
And whatever happened to the other guy?
It's hard to go from a an Olympic wrestling background where your mentality is win at all costs, when in the WWE, it's what we just talked about. You have to be good at not just winning, but you have to be good at losing and making the other guy look good and make the other guy look presentable. Because if you're just Bill Goldberg and you're just out there destroying everyone, eventually people are like, well, I don't want to watch this guy anymore because nobody can stand up to him. But when you have guys that win one, you win 1 week, they win the next week, you win the next one, and they keep going back. That's how you get rivalries in the WWE. It's hard for those guys to tone it down to, all right, I have to lose this match.
Well, you have to be a good actor, right? You have to be able to tell the story in the ring with your partner, whoever you're wrestling with. Not everybody's a great actor, so.
And it's like I said, you have to make them look good. You have to make it, at least at some point in your match, you have to make it like, oh, he might lose. Like even if you're supposed to win, you can't just come out and dominate them. You have to come out. They have to get theirs in, and then you have to get put them over. That's part of the wrestling game, and that's what's hard for these Olympic guys, because they're taught from day one, go out and beat your opponent any means necessary.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. They just, there's such a scientific method involved in wrestling. A lot of people think they just get out there and hook up and, throw each other into the ropes and that, but they're actually telling a story. I mean, they're actually, sometimes it's good versus evil. Sometimes it's buddies. Sometimes it's families fighting. So the build up to the match is sometimes more important than the actual match itself. So, and I think that's where a lot of people struggle. Like Kurt Angle, when he first came into the WWE, he was a great wrestler, but he wasn't that great on the mic. But man, after the years of development, he's probably one of the best. He's probably the GOAT. So. Well, he's not the GOAT. That would be Chris Jericho, but he's close.
Well, no, I mean, if you want to talk Olympic wrestler to WWE, I would say Kurt Angle's the best that's ever done that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I tell you, Chad Gable is pretty phenomenal too. He's underrated in the WWE, but he's pretty phenomenal.
He's not only underrated; he's underutilized. They have badly butchered him.
Yeah, I've said it for a long time. Chad Gable and Ricochet should actually go somewhere else, like the AEW or Impact, Ring of Honor, something like that, and redo their character, because they're too good to be wasted away in the WWE like they are right now. Which you can say the same thing about AJ Styles too. He's not being utilized his full potential.
But now that they've got the what's it? They call him the OC now, but now that he's got Gallows and Anderson back, I hope they get a good push for AJ Styles, because ever since AJ Styles has been in WWE, he's taken over. Every pay-per-view he's in, his match is number one or number two as far as best match of the night.
Yeah, he has the correct name, right? He's phenomenal. I was kind of hoping that he would have joined Judgment Day. I think we need to see that side of him. But yeah, Gallows and Anderson, I mean, they're good guys. They literally just lost their tag team titles in New Japan Pro Wrestling like a week or two before coming back to the WWE. So that's why it makes me think Triple H is working with New Japan, because there's no way their contract ended that quick. Which would be awesome, right?
Yeah, I thought they were totally misused last time they were when they were in WWE the first time. They were totally misused, and then once they got back with AJ Styles, it was like, all right, now they have a mouthpiece, and now they're good. And to see what they did in AEW and to see what they were doing over in Japan, I'm interested to see how they work Gallows and Anderson back into WWE.
Carl Anderson could be a singles superstar. He really could. He's got the ability. I don't know why he doesn't go that way. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the Good Brothers, the tag team, but boy, they've been around a long time. And Carl Anderson, he's so phenomenal. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to watch him in any single matches, but man, this guy's got everything. He's got all the tools to be a world champion.
But I like the Shane McMahon's intro. Yo, that was a good intro.
Yeah, he's done though. They don't even talk about him. Vince McMahon fired him. I'm sure you guys know that a couple years ago. In real life, he fired him from the board, and he.
Bro, that was real.
Oh yeah, that wasn't a work.
Yeah.
He fired him from the board. This wasn't on TV or anything. This is the board of directors, and Vince McMahon let him go because they had some kind of disagreement. And I thought for sure when Vince retired that they were going to work him back in because he was such a huge part of like WrestleMania, some huge matches. The Undertaker threw him off top of the cage and what have you. The people love him every time. Every time he come out on Raw or SmackDown, he got a huge pop. But now Stephanie McMahon's following suit that her dad set up. Man, he's not even no part of the country, no part of the company whatsoever. Which I'm sure he doesn't.
I got a little trivia for y'all. Who won the first Money in the Bank event?
Who won the first case?
Yeah.
Trying to think of people who have cashed it in.
I want to say Edge, but I know it's not.
Damn, you're right, but Kentucky guy, you hit it on the money.
It makes sense. It makes sense for it to be Ed. I mean, so what's that? What do they always say? Edge always has a plan.
Yeah, he's he did it. That was a lucky guess, man. But he's Edge is great. He's great. One of the best cash-ins I ever seen was Seth Rollins, though, where he interrupted Brock Lesnar and oh God, who was it? Brock Lesnar and Triple H, I think. No, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns.
It was Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns.
Yeah, he cashed in right in the middle of their match and ended up winning the championship. That was awesome.
That definitely was.
It's nothing like Baron Corbin when he cashed in and lost.
So he's back now. Did you see that with JBL as his manager?
I've seen that. I've always liked Baron Corbin. I know he got old and he doesn't have. When Baron Corbin had the hair and was the lone wolf, that was when Baron Corbin was on the rise, and then all of a sudden he just got buried.
Are you racist against bald people or something, man? I don't understand.
I liked him with the hair. He just looked like a menacing character. Now he doesn't look like that.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you, man. They ruined his character. That Happy Corbin crap, they ruined his character. I mean, he might as well he's never going to get over it, so he might as well just go away. But JBL, I don't know why they would try to rebrand him with him because JBL has been in politics for the last 5 years. I don't know how he relates to WWE anymore. So, but yeah. So the Bloodline. What's your thought about those guys, the Usos? I seen them last night, and Sami Zayn.
I don't understand. I don't understand Sami Zayn's. I don't understand Sami Zayn being part of it. Like, I get the Bloodline, like they're all, I mean, especially when you got Solo Sikoa coming up, you've got so many of these guys. You got so many guys that are part of the Bloodline that are actually Bloodline members of the Usos and Roman Reigns. Why is Sami Zayn even part of that?
Naomi's back, by the way. She re-signed with the WWE. She's coming back as a member of the Bloodline, which is Jey Uso's wife in real life. Sami Zayn is there. Sami Zayn is going to be the reason why the Bloodline split. That's his whole purpose. And he's making it more and more obvious with his the tensions between him and Jey Uso.
He's another wildly misused throughout his entire career. Sami Zayn has just been wildly misused throughout his entire career. Because when him and Kevin Owens were in NXT, their matches were amazing. Finn Balor and Sami Zayn were amazing matches. Once Sami Zayn got to WWE, that's what I thought they were going to go with. He has not been as high flying as he was back then.
He needs to team back up with Kevin Owens.
Manchester, Kentucky, tomorrow, Sunday, April 6th.
Man.
Look at these look at this. This what they missing right here. Look at this with the mic skills this guy about to hit him with.
Number 1 supper club east of the Mississippi. McDowell, Kentucky.
I'm just waiting for I'm waiting for the Macho Man to come out.
April 15th. Tonight, Kentucky. All the hair will fall, man. From run to distance. Rip Rogers, man. The man who was in the parking lot with me. Real ass is the truth. Cuts up his hair against Rip Tyler, the Bear Man. Combs, Kentucky, get it? Combs, Kentucky. Here, this man. United States Tech Team title match with the big one. Hair versus hair. Combs, Kentucky, Rip Rogers, Combs, Kentucky, man. A bald duck. A bald duck. That's what Rip Tyler's gonna look like. And Ronnie Garvin, man, don't call me yellow. I'm sending a bodybuilder. I'm sending a hustler into the ring, man, to do light work. Ronnie Garvin, remember when I was saying that I'm going to put my attention to you? Just stick with it.
One of the best in the game.
Like, how do you?
Did he say Combs?
Champions, come on.
You said what?
Did he say Combs, Kentucky?
I think that's what it said.
I never even heard of it.
Do you really think the Macho Man knew anything that he was talking? He had no idea what he was saying. He just says stuff. I mean,
Dancing with the Stars.
you go back to the Macho Man when he used to come out on Arsenio Hall. Those are some of the best clips you'll ever see of somebody actually living a character. And that's one of the big problems with WWE today is they try to be too Macho Man knew he was a character and lived up that character. You don't have guys doing that today. Guys are way too serious.
You have them, they break character a lot. That's one thing I think the internet has kind of ruined.
Let's take a look at this piece of videotape.
Always thinking and always smart. That's what the Andersons are down here. And that's in the rest of the four horsemen. Yes, sir. Learn that from the rest. Here the ropes are going to use them.
Let me
Everything they can in the ring. Oh. Yeah. Right there. 1, 2, whoa, baby. Almost a pin.
We're watching Dusty Rhodes here. Kentucky guy, what's the deal with Cody Rhodes?
He's still injured. He's supposed to be back there in Royal Rumble in January.
Because that put a big damper on what WWE was planning. They were planning on a big push from Cody Rhodes, and that injury threw them for a loop.
Yeah, but his match with Seth Rollins being injured, his pectoral being injured, that put him over so big, man. Nothing's going to slow him down when he comes back. Him wrestling like that. I mean, I even gained more respect for Cody Rhodes. He was definitely injured. I don't know if you guys saw that match, but
I saw it. How purple his shoulder was after that. Oh my God.
I would be like, just pay me, man. I'm done. You know.
Exactly. I mean, That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping he gets that big push. But I think that's what they're doing right now. I think that's why you're seeing Logan Paul right now. That's why you're seeing all these guys just come out, because they're kind of holding pace for. All right, well, we need to wait until we get Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes.
What does the winner of Royal Rumble get? What's usually
they get the number one shot
at WrestleMania? Yeah, everybody thinks it's going to be The Rock and Roman Reigns, but I don't think The Rock's coming back. He might, but I don't think it's going to happen. Plus, he's old now.
Plus, he's making major money off these movies.
After watching Black Adam, I don't think there's any way The Rock comes back to WWE.
And I mean, I understand the storyline, right? The Rock comes back. He says he's the original in the head of the table. I mean, it's great. It make for great TV and all that stuff. But it's just, I don't know. I think everybody's done. You know, it's time to move on. We've got such a young generation of talent right now. It's just time to go on. So The Rock's fantastic. He's a great actor. Love all of his movies. Loved him when he was in the WWE, but you know, he's been out for a while. So let's just we've got plenty of wrestlers right now that can take that spot. But I don't think Logan Paul's not the next guy.
No, and that's one of my major criticisms of the WWE has been why do they keep putting guys with Roman Reigns who Roman Reigns is going to win? They're not putting the title on Logan Paul. That would be a disaster.
He's going to stay champion until WrestleMania. That's why. Yeah,
and that's why I think it's going to be Cody. I think they're just waiting for Cody Rhodes to come back.
And you know, you and I are the only people that say that. Everybody else is saying it's going to be The Rock. But I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happen either.
Why do it? I mean, he's got another daughter now. He's got all kinds of money. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
And he got the XFL.
Yeah, you're right. And he's got that new series coming out too on HBO. They signed for another 2 seasons, The Baller or whatever it is.
Yeah, Playmakers or whatever. Isn't that?
Yeah.
Or is it Ballers?
I think Ballers actually ended. I think I said the name wrong, but it's the one he's been doing.
I think it's Playmakers.
Playmakers.
That's the one where The Rock is like it's all about the team or whatever, and it's all behind the scenes.
Yeah, The Ballers is the one where he was an agent or something, right?
Yeah. That was a good show.
That was a great show. It didn't last long enough, I don't think.
It was like an entourage with football players. That was really wild. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Entourage was a good show too. That was one of my favorites.
His partner in that show was funnier than crap. The white guy that kept getting high and getting in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that boy was funny. But you know what? Another one was really funny though. Blue Mountain State. It didn't get enough credit. And it's crazy that Jack Reacher character is played by Thad. That shit is the funniest shit of all time. You remember that Chris Dees, Blue Mountain State on Spike TV?
Yes. You watch it all the time. Yes. And their school looked like they had the exact uniforms of the Adam Sandler movie. The water.
No, it looked like Boosie's a little bit. It looked like Boosie's colors.
It looked like Boise State, but it was the exact uniforms of the team they played against.
Oh.
It was the exact uniforms. It was hilarious.
You're talking about the Water Boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That scene where he's running to jump in the back of the truck. You're absolutely right, man. That is their uniform. Yeah.
Kentucky guy, what you have coming up this coming week?
Let's see. We have a show tonight on Against the Podcast. Basically, we just celebrated our season 1 finale on Friday in our 50th episode. So we don't have a special guest for tonight. We're just going to go over like Raw and SmackDown and all those new stuff we didn't get to on Friday because we just played around. So, but yeah, man, we just this coming month in November on the Red Pill Current News podcast, we're doing nothing but interviews with entrepreneurs and successful business owners, and basically what it's called is November, the month of the stars. So I've already got right around almost 20 people, entrepreneurs lined up to interview. So I think it's going to be a pretty good month. For some reason, my audience, they love that stuff. Like I have a lot of people who are professionals and managers and what have you, and they love coaching and learning new things. So I figured I'd try it, and hopefully it goes okay.
That's good. And let the people know where they can get all this content. Yeah.
Absolutely. So both podcasts are on. We're on 75 different platforms right now. Anywhere you can hear audio: Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and also we have a website. If you ever want to go there, you can listen to the shows as well, and that is politicalnewspodcast.com. Don't let the name fool you, though. We've kind of changed our platform. We're more about interviews and things of that nature. We've had, oh man, the strangest interview I've done is he was a medium, and this guy, he said that I'm on my 28th life. Yeah, and I was like, me personally or everybody? He goes, no, you, man. And he goes, this is your 28th time on Earth. I go, oh, okay,
Okay.
I mean, you're talking to a preacher's kid here, so you throw something like that at him, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell is this guy talking about? But he was great. Like he's got a lot of listen tos. I mean, but I appreciate you having me on here this evening, man. It's great.
I appreciate you coming on, man, talking wrestling. I know that's a big following, so you're the best guy I can find, man. You're tapped into that all the way. You just said you watch Japanese wrestling. I don't got that much time.
Yeah,
but I know you tapped into all things wrestling, so that's why I wanted you on, man.
Yeah, we just had Warren Marlowe. I don't know if you know him. He's a former professional wrestler in the Indies, and he's actually getting ready to have his first match after 4 years.
Wow.
Next month. Yeah, he's coming out of retirement. He'll wrestle at least. He'll only give me 2 matches. I'm sure there's more, but he'll only. He gave me the scoop, so I appreciate that. He's wrestling 2 matches. He's in Florida, so anybody out there, be sure to look him up because it's going to be phenomenal.
I got a question. You went to you said you went to the event last night, right?
The Sunday Stunner. Yeah.
What was the best entrance from that you saw live?
The best entrance was probably Kevin Owens because we didn't expect him to be there. He came out in a tag team with Johnny Gargano, and man, you talk about a pop. That was something. I was actually, I'm there with my daughter, and I'm acting like I'm 2 years old. I'm out of my seat. Nobody expected it, so. And I would also have to say Ronda Rousey. Her interest got everybody going too. So probably a tie between those two.
Because that was always whenever I went to a live event, that was what was the driving for. Like all the matches in the ring, I was like, all right, that's cool. But the entrances were just that's where you got out of your seat and you're like, whoa. I mean, I remember going, and this is what I said. This is where they're losing a lot of their talent is when the Undertaker came out and the lights went down and the AC kicked on, and all of a sudden you were like, man, it went from like 90 degrees to like 50, and you were like, why is it freezing in here? And then you were like, then you heard the bell, and you were like, oh, I got it now.
Yeah. They got away from pyros. They only do that now during their bigger pay-per-views. So I have a problem with that. I know it costs quite a bit of money, but man, that's what got everybody out of their seats used to. Fireworks going off inside the building and what have you. So
Kentucky guy, have you checked out? I know it's in Tennessee, Kentucky area, the National Allegiance Wrestling.
I've checked him out on YouTube. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
got a buddy that's in it. Big Strong Matthew Mims. He's a heavyweight type.
Is he bald, like shaved head?
Oh, he got dreads.
He's got dreads, so he ain't the same guy. So I'll have to look him up, man. To be honest with you, I all that stuff, independent wrestling, things like that. Now, when I say I watch it, it doesn't mean I sit here all day on the TV. It means like I watch clips and I keep up on the news and who's what and what have you. But yeah, I've definitely heard of them. They're up and coming. They've been around for a while, but they're starting to finally get a little bit noticed. So, what was his name again?
Big Strong Mims.
That's his character name?
Yeah, that's his character name.
Okay. I'll check him out. So what do you think about Austin Theory? You think he's ever going to cash that briefcase in or what?
I hope not.
You hope?
I'm not an Austin Theory fan, and I've never been an Austin Theory fan. I don't like his character. I don't like his character. I don't like the way they've used him.
That's my guy, man. What?
It didn't come over with me, and I was like, all right. Every time I see him, I'm like, all right. When he had that run, the only time I liked Austin Theory was when he had that run with Finn Balor.
Yeah, you are right. They have not used him correctly. The reason why I respect Austin Theory so much is because in the independent scene, so many independent wrestlers from Georgia, where he's from, look up to him because he's made it, right? He's on the WWE now. And he's had such a push this year. It inspires these guys to keep going. So that's why I like him. I like his previous work before he ever got in NXT a lot better than what he's doing now.
Well, this has been the Wrestling Corner on the Monday morning. I appreciate Kentucky guy coming on, man. Hopefully we can do this again.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me. And we're going to have to get you on against the mat sooner or later. So.
All right, man. Just let me know, man. Just let me know a date and time. I shall be there, man.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for having me. Be safe.
All right, you too, man.
Thank you, man.
Wow, Chris Dietz, it's time for us to go get in some college football. You know, it was a little lackluster, but we had an upset. So let's talk about the upset of LSU upsetting Ole Miss.
Oh, we had a couple. Well, man, we had a couple. I mean, a couple teams fall out this week. So, but yeah, definitely LSU Mississippi was definitely one of those games. It was one of those Lane Kiffin type games where they couldn't stop LSU's offense.
Yeah, man. Would you expecting that though?
I was not expecting that out of Jaden Daniels, but once Jaden Daniels got going, I was like, all right, this is the Jaden Daniels of old. So
that's definitely a big win for Kelly, though.
It's a big win for LSU, and it keeps LSU. It keeps LSU's hopes alive.
Definitely does, man.
I mean, for what they've got going on. I mean, if they somehow find a way to beat Alabama, all of a sudden we're looking at it might be LSU in the SEC title game, but yeah, that definitely threw a monkey wrench into everything that the SEC wanted, because they want someone undefeated going against. They want undefeateds going against each other. They wanted Ole Miss undefeated against Alabama and see what happens. But now we're not going to get that. And Ole Miss, you can't let teams score 45 on you. You can't put up 50 every game. Like, you have to play defense at some point.
So what's some other, games you was watching? And
I was Clemson. Clemson almost let that one slip away.
Yeah.
Syracuse gave Clemson everything they had, and that was a great game. I watched that game. I watched Ohio State for a little bit. Ohio State gave us a little bit. Oh, it was against Iowa. I mean, Iowa just couldn't get anything going on off. If Iowa had any sense of offense, they probably would have been ahead at halftime in that game. But they just couldn't. They couldn't
say every week.
They couldn't do anything on off. They couldn't move the ball on offense. It was awful. It was a horrible display. And then we got to give props. We slammed the guy. I've slammed the kid all year, but I gotta give Bo Nix props. I gotta give Bo Nix props for what he did on Saturday. He took care of UCLA, and
I picked UCLA. I told everybody I think UCLA is going to get it done. It didn't.
And they did that, even though UCLA lost, they're still in a good position though, because they've got the win over Utah. They're still in the driver's seat when it comes to all they have to do is beat USC.
That's all.
That's and if as long as they beat USC, they can still get to the Pac-12 title game and probably see Oregon again. So we'll see we'll see what UCLA is not finished, but I mean they're but that was the death of the Pac-12 as far as no Pac-12 teams making the playoffs this year.
Dang.
That was the one chance they had was UCLA going undefeated.
What about this? I hate to skip some games, but Penn State game coming up, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
The one thing I hate about this game, about that game coming up is that it's at noon.
You got to be a 3:30 or maybe 8 o'clock game.
For a whiteout game. For a whiteout game, it's got to be at night because it's such a contrast when it's so dark and then everybody in the stadium is white. They're going to do the whiteout game anyway. They're going to do it anyway, but it has such a different feel when it's at noon and the sun is out. It's not as drastic as when you see it, but and I said it. I killed Bo Nix for a lot of time. The other guy I've killed all year is Sean Clifford, and Sean Clifford has got to play big, and he's not been a guy that's played big in big games.
And another thing, man, I got to get Desmond Rattler some love, man, because since he left, he hasn't looked the same. Cincinnati have not been looking the same. They almost lost to SMU.
Cincinnati's been Cincinnati all year. I mean, the only loss they had was that first game against Arkansas. Mm-hmm. So Cincinnati's still doing Cincinnati things. And they've got a big contest. I'm tempted. I took UCF this week just because I think the game is in Orlando. So I'm just checking my schedule here. I think it's in Orlando. Yeah, it's in Orlando, and it's a pick'em game. So. This is your de facto American Conference Championship game right here.
What's going on? And also another question for you, man. What's going on with Texas A&M, man?
Texas A&M it's the same. They've had the same problem all year. They have no quarterback. They have 3 quarterbacks, and none of them are good. Otherwise, the rest of that team is built to win. And that's why I think they got Mississippi this week, and both teams need that game.
What's going on? And another thing, man, who's going to stop TCU, man? They just keep on rolling and rolling like an Amtrak train.
That was the other game I watched last weekend was TCU Kansas State, and that was just a fun game. That game was just fun. It was old school college football. It was just back and forth, guys making plays, and Max Duggan just finds a way to win. Well, who's going to stop them? I would say Oklahoma. If Dylan Gabriel is healthy, Oklahoma's a different team when Dylan Gabriel's behind center.
No doubt. So, man, let's go to the Cinderella story in the MLB real quick, man. I had to eat some crow this week, early in the week. You know what I mean? I had my Manny Machado jersey on. I thought him and Soto and that pitching staff with Hader and, you know what I mean, the couple of other guys in that bullpen was going to get it done. But they only could get one win. What did you see out there? You know what I mean? With your Mets glasses on.
What did I see? I see a Philadelphia Phillies team that just has fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad. I'm kind of glad that that this Phillies team is in the World Series, because everybody that does the World Series is going to lose. All these national media people that do baseball are going to lose their minds when they watch this Phillies team. The way that they play, the way they bat, their bat flips are epic. They have bat flips. And
they're hot right now. They're hot.
I just had the traditional media that hate celebrations. They're gonna hate this Phillies team.
But my biggest question is why could they not play like this in the beginning of the season? You know what I mean? We first looked at them. We was like, man, this team's not doing nothing. They struggling, and they just got hot like grits.
I think it's that kind of thing. Their bats have caught up to their pitching. Their pitching has been immaculate all year. It's just the bats have finally caught up, and the bats have finally caught fire, which it's probably the best thing in the world for them that Houston swept the Yankees, because now that series, they don't have to sit around and wait as long.
So, Deets, how do you feel like this? How many games you're predicting on this series?
I'm still going Houston in 5. Houston's too good.
I just feel like Houston they don't play with their food. They get a lead, they're keeping it. They're not playing with their food. And can you expect Bryce Harper and Haskins and Gene Segura and all? It's a beautiful story. Do you expect them to be hot like this?
I think they can get one. I think they can get one game. Probably in Philly. Probably in that bandbox that is Philly. I think they can get one game, but you're right. The Astros don't mess around, and the Astros can match them as far as the bats.
Match them bat for bat and pitcher for pitcher.
They can match them as far as bats go, but what we're going to see is a completely different. You're going to see a completely different team, because when Houston hits them, they hit them, and they drop their bat and run. When Philly hits home runs, it's home run, and the bat is about halfway to the dugout by the time they get through with it. So you're going to see a lot. You're going to see a lot of that.
What's the guy that got suspended, man? Tease, what's his name? Dietz for the Padres.
What happened with the Padres?
The guy that got suspended for a year for the PEDs.
Oh, Tatis.
Tatis. You think if he was there, it'd be a different outcome, or?
Absolutely. They're a totally different team with Fernando Tatis. It's a completely different lineup. It's a completely different. I mean, and I don't know what this is going to do. I don't know what this is going to do to him. I hope it doesn't change the way Fernando Tatis plays. But him and Machado, when they were playing together, it just looked like they were having fun. And I think that's what the Phillies have shown to baseball is that when you're having fun, this is what can happen. This is what baseball can look like.
And Soto was livid after the game. He was livid. You know what I mean? Because he had a great postseason. I give him that. He had a great postseason hitting. He had a little couple errors in the field, but he had an overall good, series. But Manny, his bat was striking out. He was striking out a lot. You know what I mean? That rain didn't help. You know what I mean? It was downpouring bad in Philly, but hope they can get it together, man.
And it was cold.
Yeah.
And you're coming from San Diego to Philadelphia. It was cold.
Let's get some NFL talk now, man. We talked about the Phillies. We talked about some pro wrestling. Let's get some NFL talk.
Absolutely.
Man.
I gotta ask you, what's gonna happen tonight? You're the Patriots guy. What's gonna happen tonight?
I'm really worried, man. I'm thinking Mac Jones is rushing it. I think that ankle's still bothering him, but he got that guy on his heels, and he doesn't want him to have another good game. That's what I'm predicting, and that's why the biggest reason why he's coming back. Because everybody, I'm on the Facebook group for Patriot fans, and everybody's saying, "Oh, Bailey Zapp. Look at Mac Jones' stats. He threw 2 TDs and 5 interceptions." You know what I mean? I really feel if he comes out and he doesn't look right, Bill gonna pull him, or if he throws a couple picks, Bill's pulling him. We're in our division is stacked right now. The Jets just won yesterday. We don't got time to be taking no losses, man.
You can't lose. You can't lose to the Bears.
No, we can't.
You can't lose to the Bears. You can't lose this game. Matt, I think this is a good game to find out where Mac Jones is. And you're right. If he struggles early, I think Bill should have a quick hook. Should have a quick hook with him. And I mean, we can go back to Saturday. Saturday, look what Dabo Swinney did. Dabo Swinney, his starting quarterback didn't have it. What'd he do? Went to put the freshman in. They started scoring points. And then they asked him after the game, "Oh, is there a quarterback controversy?" He said, "No, DJ's our guy. He just didn't have it today, and I had to pull him." It's okay. It's okay to pull somebody out of a game and say, "Hey, you don't have it today, but we have to win this game."
And I think they need to do that, man. Another thing, I know Damian Harris I think he's out for this game, but keep him riding the hot back. I like Ramon Stevenson. I call him baby Corey Dillon. Let him get the carries. We also got Pierre Strong. You drafted. Let him get some carries. You know what I mean?
I think you'll see a lot. I think you'll see a lot of runs tonight. I don't care who the quarterback is. Bill's going to run the football tonight. And then
let him go behind Cole Strange. He's doing a hell of a job.
If you guys get a lead, you'll definitely see a lot more running.
And I like some of them jet sweeps we did with Taquan Thornton. Let the young boy eat. You know what I mean? Stop over, complicating things. You know what I mean? Yes, throw 15 to 25 times, and yes, depend on the run. But that's how I feel. I feel like we get the game. I'm gonna say 27-10 maybe. I don't think it's gonna be really a medium high scoring game. I think 27-10. I feel like we get a couple picks. I think in that secondary, I think we get a couple picks. I think Kyle Duggar's gonna have a great game, and what you call gonna have a great game. Judon, that line is terrible. Judon,
the Bears offensive line is absolutely disgusting.
But man, let's talk about them Cowboys, man. How do you feel about that win, man? I feel like y'all left some points on the field. I feel like you left some points on the field.
Cowboys left a lot of stuff on the field, and it's like we were just talking about. Like the Cowboys just try to do too much. And perfect example of this is second quarter. It's 6-3. Cowboys throw the ball on first down, incomplete. Throw the ball on second down, incomplete. Run the ball with Ezekiel Elliott. He runs for 15 yards. Gets them down first down, 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. What do they do in the next play? Throw the ball. They throw the ball. The guy catches it at the 5-yard line, and he fumbles it. Like, run the foot. You just ran the ball for 15 yards. Keep running the ball. I don't understand what the Cowboys. That's what I don't understand about the Cowboys. Is they just try to make things. Let's just keep throwing, and it's like just run the ball and you're fine.
I think it's Kellen Moore. I think it's Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy.
They just have this mentality. They just have this mentality that we just ran the ball for 15, so we're gonna sneak a throw by them. No, you just ran it for 15 yards. Like
Zeke was looking good. I'm not gonna lie, Zeke was looking all right. Zeke was looking good.
I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it from a Cowboy I mean, I'm watching the game and everybody at the bar is yelling at me because I'm sitting there yelling at the TV, just run the goddamn ball. And they're like, even a guy turned to me during the game and was like, why do you advocate for running so much? It's boring. And I was like, no, it's winning. I want to win the game. I want winning football. I want to play football the right way. Like, you don't have to throw on 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. Run the ball. Even if we don't get it, all right, we get a field goal, tie the game, we go into the halftime tied up. And what did they do in the first drive when they came out? They ran the football and they ran it down their throat and they ended up scoring and Cowboys take the lead and that was the end of the Lions.
Man, that division's getting tight, man. That division's getting tight, man. Y'all division's getting tight.
The division is right. It's right there. It's right there, and it's right where everything needs to be. I mean, the Packers couldn't help us out this weekend because the Packers are. I don't know what's going on in Green Bay, but
like I can give Tom Brady a pass losing to Carolina, but you're the reigning MVP. You know what I mean? You're the reigning MVP of last year. I know that you don't got receivers like that, but what's going on with the coaching? This guy's an offensive master, supposedly, right? LaFleur. What's going on there? You know what I mean?
And it's not. It's not these. What I don't know. I don't know if it doesn't look like it's the wide receivers.
It doesn't look that way.
The wide receivers look like they're running the right routes. It's some with Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers doesn't look like Aaron Rodgers. And the Packers seem to get in that mold of all right. Well, we need Aaron Rodgers to save us. Like you have You have Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon.
Yeah.
Slow the game. You know your defense is not that good. Slow the game down and run the football.
And I don't know why the corner on the Terry McLaurin. No, that was not McLaurin. Was that McLaurin with the touchdown?
Was it McLaurin or was that Samuel?
I don't know which one it was. He wasn't even playing the ball right. like it's just overall the team is just struggling, man. I would never thought the Vikings gonna win that division. I would never thought the Vikings going back and going to take that division completely, the North.
I think it's still way too early to give it to the Vikings, but the Vikings now have a cushion, which is okay, and the Packers have a lot to make up. I'm still not jumping off the Packers yet. I'm still not selling the Packers, especially because the Vikings still have Kirk Cousins as their quarterback. So I'm not buying the Vikings running away with this thing. But the Packers can't let them get too far ahead, and it doesn't get any easier for the Green Bay Packers as they head to Buffalo.
Woo!
But
that's another torch.
But this is what makes it scary though, because even Aaron Rodgers said it in his press conference. Like, we're going to Buffalo and we're going to play a tough team. This could be the spark. If they go out and beat Buffalo, Green Bay is going to look at this like, hey, we just beat Buffalo. We can beat anybody. It could be the spark that anything could ignite their season. So that's what's scary. That's what's scary to me. And we've seen Buffalo at times not press on the neck of a team that they should. Now, go look at the Ravens. They started out against the Ravens sloppy. They started out against Miami. Against the Chiefs, they started slow. So Buffalo
playing for their pride. They won't go to overtime against all these New York teams.
Step on the neck, and see a team that's down. If they let Green Bay hang around, it could be the spark that ignites the show in Green Bay. And that's really all they need. All they need is that one step to get things back. And if they get on a roll, we could be looking at trouble.
There's another one, man, that I'm sorry they do this to Ryan McCarthy. The Jets, man. How long can Zach Wilson keep on doing this?
Not much longer.
Even 90% of the game. He's throwing for only what he threw yesterday. I think 80 yards, maybe 100 yards, solid.
Yeah, and losing Breece Hall for Breece Hall is done for the rest of the year. That's a big loss for the Jets. People can say whatever they want, but Breece Hall was driving that team, and to lose him, that's a big loss for the Jets.
It definitely is a big loss.
I'm not buying it, but I mean, you look at what the Jets did. They survived against a Broncos team that their offense is allergic to scoring points.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, and for everybody that was out there Russell Wilson was the problem. No, Russell Wilson was not the problem. Russell Wilson wasn't the quarterback yesterday, and they were still allergic to scoring points.
I'm seeing crazy things on the social media saying maybe we should sit Russell down. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean, the only reason you sit Russell is if he's not healthy. That's the only thing.
The offensive line is terrible. The defense is the only bright sign in that play. The offensive play calling is terrible. I don't know what.
I don't know what their offense is. Basically, get the ball to Jaron Judy, or we don't do anything. I mean, you have another guy. You have Cortland Sutton, a guy who's 6'5" and can jump out of the building, and he never gets the ball. I don't understand their offense.
You know what I mean? Let's move along, man. What's going on with them? We talked about this in the beginning. You know what I mean? Countless times, man. They really messed. The NFL really messed up the Browns season, man.
They did.
They really tore this team apart, man. The Ravens barely squeak along. They got 23-20. The Ravens didn't look too good to me. What's your thoughts on that game, man?
I think the Ravens got lucky to get out. They got lucky to get out of there. They played some of the worst football that we saw, and they were lucky that they were going against the Browns. Now, I think Deshaun Watson's suspension should be over soon. Should be over soon, right?
What is it, like week 11 he comes back or something, I think?
Maybe.
Or is it 10?
I thought it was 10. I think it's 10. So I think they got like 2 more games to go without him. But the Browns season's over.
Yeah.
I think they're only at 2 wins. But I mean, they couldn't stop the Ravens. The Ravens couldn't stop Nick Chubb. They couldn't stop Kareem Hunt. That's a problem for the Ravens.
I feel like their defense lost the whole. Like what they had a good defense last year. I feel like the Ravens lost their identity of being a good defense team. You know what I mean? I don't know what happened. I don't know, change of defensive coordinators, what it was. I don't know. But they look like they're not the Ravens no more. I don't know what this is.
They definitely look. They haven't looked right for the last few weeks. They haven't looked right since the fourth quarter in Miami. Since the fourth quarter against Miami, the Ravens have not looked. They haven't looked like the Ravens. But the only good thing for the Ravens is their whole division is god awful, except Cincinnati. When Cincinnati gets going, look out. I mean, Joe Burrow threw for almost 500 yards yesterday. So that division is basically Cincinnati and Baltimore, because the other 2 teams have basically given up.
I feel the same way about the AFC South. I think it's Tennessee's division.
Tennessee showed that they're still the class of that division. I know everybody was so enamored with the Colts and Matt Ryan doing his thing for the last 3 weeks. Well, that he came crashing right back down to earth and played Matt Ryan football, throwing pick sixes. And that's the one thing the Colts can't do. The Colts they can't survive. They can't survive. They can survive an interception. You can't give an interception that gives the other team points.
Yeah. Because that was a pick six. He took that to the crib.
Yeah. The Colts can hold an interception and that's down in their area. You can't give up a pick six. The Colts aren't built to make comebacks. They're built to play from ahead.
Man, even Josh McDaniels got a dub yesterday against a struggling Texans. He needed, man, I'm telling you, he better start just knocking the wins out, man, because next year is going to be a hot seat.
I think Josh McDaniels has figured it out. They had to buy the game before the bye week. They had to buy, and then they had the game last night. I think they figured it out. Hey, when are we best? When Josh Jacobs runs the football, when he gets going. When he gets going, and he had 160 yards yesterday. He had 130 against the Broncos before that. They've figured it out. Like, give Josh Jacobs the football.
It's all starting with the run, man. The run opens up the passing. It's always going to be that way, man. I don't know how long it's going to take.
And they have that guy. Devontae Adams is that guy, but you can't drop back 50 times. You've got to run the football. And I think Josh McDaniels has figured that out. And
I have a question, though, D.
Now we got to see what adjustments teams make because they have to come. You have to stop that. If you stop the run with the Raiders, we have to see what happens.
Dees, do you feel like, all season, I'm just going a little bit in the future. Do you think they're going to draft a quarterback, man?
Who?
The Raiders. They're for the future.
I don't think they're looking future. I don't think they're looking future. Yeah, I think Derek Carr is still the future of that team. It'll all depend. I don't think that definitely not this year.
I'm saying the coming future.
This year's quarterback class, I don't think so. Maybe next year, probably 3 years down the road.
Okay.
They'll start looking at a quarterback because I don't think this quarterback class is deep enough to get to the Raiders because I still think the Raiders will be a pretty decent team. I think the Raiders will be a playoff team by the time we get to the end of this season.
Y'all talk about this cooking, man. That boy Patty Mahomes, he's a bad boy, man. And number one, McKinney, that guy got some speed, man. You see that screen?
Don't.
And Hardman, they quick.
Don't get Pat Mahomes mad. That's what the 49ers did. They got Pat Mahomes mad, and he went on a tear.
And Kelsey.
Travis Kelce.
That man's hands is glue.
I like how Travis Kelce had 90. He had like 95 yards. They tried to get him over 100 with a screen pass, and he dropped it. And then they went, all right, that's the end of that.
And he's still one of the best to do it in the league, man. He's still one of the best.
He showed up. The difference in that game was the Chiefs showed up and the 49ers didn't. And the 49ers showed up for 2 or 3 plays here, but there were just plays where it looked like nobody knew what they were doing. On both sides, offense and defense. Defensively, you had guys looking at each other like Kansas City guys running wide open and 2 49ers guys looking at each other like, I thought you had him. I thought you had him. It was a mess yesterday.
And I told somebody, man, Andy Reid and the enemy, they're the best offensive minds in the league.
Absolutely. Andy Reid is always one of the best offensive minds. The difference yesterday was Chris Jones. Chris Jones took over that game.
Oh, he was all in Jimmy G's face, man. That's what you have to do with him, man. Look at that pick he threw. The running back was wide open in the flats. It could have been easily a touchdown, but Chris Jones was right in his face. He got nervous, and he threw that pick to. I think that guy went to a small school. He threw it to. Anyway, but it was a rookie. Just jumped over the receiver and got the pick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why. I tell people.
He just jumped over and he's like, "Give me that."
That's why I tell people, man. Jimmy G is not a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, man. I talk to these 49er fans. Oh man, he's gonna take us back to the Super Bowl. I'm saying, nah, not. Trey Lance is y'all future, man. I'm sorry to say it.
Yeah, man. A lot of 49. I mean, there's a lot of 49er fans at the bar, and a lot of them were talking about. Oh, Trey Lance is. They believe in Trey Lance. They believe when Trey Lance comes back, he'll get the starting job back. I don't see it happening. I don't think they go back to Trey Lance. But after I said that before the game, after yesterday's game, I mean,
Got you.
I think you have to go to Trey Lance. You have to go to Trey Lance now.
I'm just saying that the offensive play calling. You gave all these picks up for Christian McCaffrey. Why don't you have Trent Williams slide out so he can run behind him?
Well, that was the big loss yesterday. Is Trent Williams wasn't there. So
wasn't playing? I thought he was playing.
Yeah, Trent Williams was injured. So Trent Williams is injured right now, which is the reason. I mean, to talk about the Christian McCaffrey trade, it's why I said it when they made this trade. Like, you have a team that struggled with injury that just traded for an injury-prone guy.
Yeah,
that's troubling to me. But we saw Christian McCaffrey. You know, he played 21 snaps for getting there on Thursday.
That's impressive.
So clearly he's in the right spot. I mean, him and Kyle Shanahan are like best. They've been best friends since they were younger. And I think we were talking somebody like Kyle Shanahan used to babysit for Christian McCaffrey. So they've known each other since the days of Mike Shanahan and Ed McCaffrey with the Broncos. So I think they'll be a good fit. It's just a matter of can they get it together. So, but speaking of the NFC West, if I were to tell you that the Seattle Seahawks are in first place, if you would have said that after Russell Wilson, everybody would have said, you're crazy. But that's where we're at right now. The Seattle Seahawks are first place in the NFC West.
You know what I mean? I'm telling you, I take the receipt right now. I was talking so much shit about Pete Carroll. Maybe he should retire. It's over for him. And look what he's doing. He's taking a backup for 10 years and make him to a shiny jewel right now. Who saw this coming, Geno Smith in year 10 playing this good?
Who saw Geno Smith playing this good? But the difference for that team is Kenneth Walker has taken over that running back position.
Mm-hmm.
And he is playing like a monster. And this is a guy, Kenneth Walker has been overlooked his entire career. Right, from his days at Wake Forest to transferring to Michigan State to he came into his own last year when he ran all over Michigan. That's when people started to recognize him. But even when he got drafted, people were talking about Breece Hall. People are talking about Breece Hall is the rookie of the year. Look at what Kenneth Walker is doing in Seattle. He's coming alive at the right time. And that's why Seattle's able to do a lot of things that they're doing. But you're right. Pete Carroll does not get a lot of the he doesn't get a lot of the love that he should get. I mean, his days at USC, his time in and people could say what they want. His time in New England, his tenure in New England was not terrible as the head coach in New England. They had some pretty good teams. And then what he's done in Seattle has just been outstanding. And you saw him yesterday, like running around and high-fiving guys. Like he's a. You look at these NFL teams, like NFL teams are like business, like blah blah, and then you see Pete Carroll like running around and having fun on the side. It's a different atmosphere up there.
But I'm telling you this, man. Walker had 23 carries for 168 yards and 2 TDs, averaging 7 yards. That's crazy, man. That is crazy.
And not only that, when you watch him run, he's breaking tackle. He breaks a tackle, I think, every run. I saw a stat. He has the most broken tackles. He has the most broken tackles of any player this year. Hey, he's been phenomenal, and I'm reaping the benefits because I got him on both fantasy teams. So
man, where does San Diego go from here, man? They've been looking really lackluster the last couple games, man.
I never bought in. I never bought into the Chargers from the beginning of the season when everybody said, "Oh, it's between Kansas City and you're right in calling them San Diego," because I still call them San Diego. You're right. I never bought in. People said, "Oh, it's Kansas City and the Chargers," and that's going to be. And I was like, "No, the Chargers aren't there yet." And I don't know. I don't know if Joey Bosa play. Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, like where they brought Khalil Mack in, and that defense has been thrashed the last 3 games.
And Derwin James just got paid. Where's Santi Jr. at? Where's J.C. Jackson at? This secondary is supposed to be maybe a top 5 secondary. What's going on with them?
They brought all these guys in, and it hasn't clicked yet. And a lot of that has to do with the head coach. A lot of that has to do with the defensive coordinator. And if they continue on this trend, they're going to have to be looked at the end of the year.
And you fire Anthony Lynn, and you thought this guy right here is going to be something better, but they're still struggling offensively, even defensively. So
yeah. I don't know what you can hang your hat on right now if you're San Diego. Your offense and defense has been horrendous. And everybody said, "Oh, Justin Herbert's we're into year 3 now with Justin Herbert. Like at some point he's got to take the reins and take over that team and be accountable for this." But it seems like he never gets everybody always just says, "Oh yeah, he's still growing." No, he's in year 3. Like year 3, yes, you're young, but you're established now. You've been a 3-year starter. At some point the accountability has to come back to the quarterback.
Hey, Deese, how long the leash you think is for Todd Bowles? How long you think he got, man, to keep on doing, man, this coaching thing at Tampa? You think he got a short leash, or you think they're going to let him go for another year?
I don't know what Tampa Bay is going to do because Tampa Bay it's going to be weird because Tampa Bay is going to win that division by default.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to win the division, but they're not going to. They don't look like a division winner. But imagine what that team would look like if they didn't have Tom Brady.
Who's the backup again? The guy from Florida, right?
I don't even know who their backup quarterback is. I have no idea. But what are they? How would they look if they didn't have Tom Brady? If they didn't have Tom Brady, we'd be talking about how Tampa Bay is the worst team in the league.
They'd probably go back to the orange icicle, popsicle days, butt fumbles, and all kind of crazy shit. But yeah.
But I think Todd Bowles is one of those guys who's a great coordinator. He's not a good coach. He's not a good head coach. He's a great coordinator, not a head coach.
If you was the GM or let's say GM or owner, what head coach would you put there to coach that team?
I'd be looking for having serious talks with Todd Bowles. Hey, look, we'll move you to defensive coordinator, but we need to find somebody who's a head coach. And
I'm saying, what head coach would you bring in if you could?
If I could, I'd be looking for an offensive minded guy. And for that, I'd be. I mean, the number one candidate is always going to be Eric Bieniemy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's always the guy. And a guy he's learned under Andy Reid, and people say, "Oh, it's Andy Reid calling the plays." All right, just being around Andy Reid, I'm pretty sure Eric Bieniemy's picked up some things.
That worked for what you call it, John Harbaugh.
Yeah, exactly. It's worked for a lot of coaches that have just been around Andy Reid. But I would look there. There's a lot of young coordinators that I like to look at. One of the names that I'm interested to see. One of the guys doesn't get mentioned a lot. Seattle, Ken Norton. Ken Norton, I think is very, very adept. Now, but I don't think that's but that's not what Tampa Bay needs. Tampa Bay needs an offensive guy. Mm-hmm. And I know Bruce Arians is still around the team, but they just need somebody who can get that offense going. Mm-hmm. And we talked about this last week with, is Byron Leftwich. You're seeing what kind of coach Byron Leftwich is. They don't make adjustments at all. They don't adjust to anything.
Nah.
I
think he'd be a great college coach.
That's what I look for in a head coach is what guys are making adjustments on the fly.
But again, I think he'd be a great college coach. I think he'd be great if the Marshall job opened up. I think that'd be a perfect spot for him. He's a Marshall guy.
But if you're, I mean, the only way Byron Leftwich takes that job is if he's truly thinking Marshall's not the place you go from a National Football League. He probably gets paid. He probably gets paid more as a coordinator than he would as as Marshall's head coach.
Yeah. But, man, I got to give you your praise, man. You called it, man. Zion got hurt.
I told y'all this. You can't play him 30 minutes. And
he's hurt already.
I said it before. Just play him 25. Play him 25 minutes. I'd rather have Zion 25 minutes for 40-plus games than play him 30 minutes and he's hurt by game 5.
Man, you called it right on the money, man. This
NBA season is going. Hey, the Celtics are going strong. The Celtics they don't seem to be. I loved how the media said, "Oh, this is going to be." I'm like, yeah, the coach is gone. The players are still there.
Man, the Sixers though, man, was you expecting the Sixers to be looking like the Lakers? Like, yes. Who was expecting that?
Yes, because I've never trusted that Sixers team. Joel Embiid for all that Joel Embiid is, and I mean, he's so good at marketing himself, but he is not good at. He needs to get in the huddle and go, give me the goddamn ball. And get some Keyshawn Johnson in you and give me the ball. That's what he needs to be telling. He needs to go in the huddle and tell James Harden, stop taking shots and give me the goddamn ball.
You know what I was expecting, man? That boy Joker looking good in the beginning of the season, man. He's cooking. Him and Jamal.
I told y'all.
I think they can get out the West, man.
I told y'all in my predictions. The Miami one's not looking good, but I'm still sticking with it. I'm not one of those guys. I don't jump off after 3 games. I'm still sticking with I still sticking with Miami Denver as my finals pick. I love what Denver's got. As long as Jamal Murray stays healthy, they're dangerous.
I think that would give them problems though, man. Golden State, if they had to go in a Western Conference final against them, I think that would give them problems. Yeah. Just the bigs.
Well, we already saw the Nugget. The Nuggets already took one from Golden State. So
yeah, I like that boy, the guy coming off the bench, Bone. He's to quit.
They got that's why I love the Nuggets. They're 7-8 deep.
Yeah.
They're 7-8 deep. And when they cut that down in the playoffs and it's, it's just a 7-guy rotation, they're gonna be loaded by that point.
Man, and you know what I mean? I had a good time though, man. I had a good time on Snowman's thing, man, with my LeBron thing. But the Lakers are looking terrible, man. Dr. Buss in heaven just tearing up, man.
The Lakers are looking like the Lakers. This is what we expected the Lakers to look like. And I mean, we talked about it after game 1. Okay, so LeBron drops 30.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Davis drops 25. Who else is going to score? Nobody else on that team can score. They don't have any other scorers.
I'm going to try to go in the free agent pool. And I like the Mo Harkless thing, man. If they can find a way to put him, they need another wing defender. Like, you know what I mean? Kick the tires on that, or they're going to have to find some free agents to bring in there, man, at the wing position.
I mean, at some point you just have to bite the bullet and say, Russell Westbrook, just stop showing up.
Damn,
don't even show up. Like at some point they have to just cut ties. They have to just cut ties. You can't have a guy going 0 for 11 from the field and having 2 points.
Damn.
At some point, you're like, look, if you're not here, it helps. You just not being here helps us.
Damn.
Because you can't have that. You can't have a guy missing 11 shots from the field.
No, you can't have that. Can't have that. Well, man, what do you have? What do you have?
Again, this is the team LeBron wanted.
I think this worse than the 07 team he had. This lineup is pretty terrible, man. Pretty terrible.
And the bigger problem is like you just said, there's no reinforcements coming.
No.
Like they have to live with what they got.
No shooting at all, man. No mid-range. You know what I mean? Lonnie, whatever the guy's name, Lonnie Walker or something. He's semi-decent, but come on, man. Rob Pelinka, you should just told LeBron, man, or whoever that came up with this lineup or this roster, no, we ain't doing this.
Yeah.
We're not doing
how many people told? I mean, everybody said this before they even signed all these guys. Was you need to go out and get shooters. Well, they didn't get any. They didn't get anybody who could shoot. I mean, even guys like Carmelo Anthony looked at this roster and was like, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah, man. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
That's everything you need to know is that they went to Carmelo and were like, "Do you want to play with this team?" And he looked at the roster and was like, "Nah, I'm done."
You know what I mean? The balls of Duran, you know what I mean? Durham, Coach Ham is big as shit, man. Because there's no way I'm taking this job.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way.
He better have something in his contract of, I'm guaranteed 2 years here because I said it when he got hired. This guy could be fired by the All-Star break. He could be fired. That's how bad this team is.
I gotta give respect though, man. Chauncey Billups, he's doing a good job, man. With the hand he's been served, he's doing a good job, man. I like the lineups he's doing in the beginning of the season. With Simmons coming off the bench, I think that's a great move, man. A little spark plug.
Chauncey. How long did it take Chauncey to get to that spot? And you're seeing the benefits of that. The benefits of that march that it's taken for him to get to where he is. He's learned a lot. He does a lot of, and he's translating a lot of those things. So,
But Chris Dees, what you have coming up on Fifth Down Sports?
Fifth Down Sports this week. Well, we got a big weekend coming up because we're gonna preview Ohio State, Penn State. We're gonna preview a lot of the college football coming up. And as we get into it, as I said, we've started our ranking system. So we'll go through our top 10 this week. A lot of changes because we had 3 teams drop out of it. So a lot to change up there, but we're now getting into the championship drive, man. This is where it's at. We're starting to get. This is where conference games, conference rivalries. This is where college football starts to get fun. So we're gonna be marching right along with that and doing all that. And of course, we've got a lot of NFL stuff to dig into. As I said earlier on this program, we're going to talk about why running the football is so important to the National Football League. You saw it this weekend. The Raiders, the Seahawks, the Cowboys. Running matters.
Yeah, it definitely does. Also, Blake going.
I don't care about all these new age offenses. All these new age offenses that we have to throw the ball around. No, you don't. You have to run the football. So that's what we got coming up. That's what we got coming up on the show. And of course, we'll have a couple new things. Of course, we don't go till Thursday, so a lot can happen between now and then.
Definitely. Also, Blake Corum for Heisman.
Blake Corum definitely for the Heisman, but they're I know they were off last week. They got Michigan's got Michigan State this week. So
what Michigan State team we want to see though? That's the question.
It's big brother. It's as Mike Hart would say, big brother versus little brother.
That's going to be a great game. I feel Michigan going to get it done. They keep on running the ball like that.
I feel like that's a game. That's the game. That's the game. I'm telling you right now. I would stay away from that game this weekend. As right now it opened. I just looked at it before. It opened as a 20. Michigan State is 22-point dog. I would not touch that game. I would not touch that game. Because I'm tempted right now. That game's going to be played close. It always is.
It definitely is. But this has been another episode of Midday Sports with Rod and Lens Crew. We have Chris Dietz of Fifth Down Sports. Go check him out this Thursday. What time again?
Thursday at 7 o'clock.
At 7 o'clock. He's going early. At 7 o'clock. Go check him out. Also, man, keep on supporting the show. Go support Fifth Down Sports. Also, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button on both channels. We need that likes and love of liking the show and all that. But this has been another episode, and we're out here. We're gone. Bye.
All right, guys. Peace.